Hello, 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 hello. Wow, happy 2020. This is our first Facebook Live of 2020. I've been gone for a few weeks. I've been traveling. I've been doing some uh, interior work, and I really missed being here with everybody. I'm so glad to be back. Hello, welcome. And I am just really excited to share with you some of the things that transpired while I was away. I was traveling in Costa Rica. Hi, Jen. I was traveling in Guatemala. I got to teach at a retreat in Guatemala, which was amazing. And wow, if you guys haven't been to Guatemala, it's a cool country. Really, really beautiful, really amazing. There were towns like Guatemala City is rocking, and a big city, like 8 million people. Antigua's like boutique, beautiful, trendy, all sorts of vegan and vegetarian cuisine and beautiful hotels and scenes that are, look like they're out of a postcard. And then I was at Lake Atitlan in Guatemala, and that is like going back in time. There were 12 little villages around this lake. And one of the villages, like 70% of the people didn't speak Spanish. They still spoke just Mayan, like they didn't speak any other language. It was amazing. So, wow, it was an amazing trip. And I missed being with you all. I'm so grateful to be here. So I want to share with you what's been bubbling up with me as we approach 2020. I know we're midway through the month, but this is the time when we still want to capture all of the momentum that we have from the new year. Right? And so as we approach the new year, the question is, what brings pleasure? Right? What brings us satisfaction? What brings pleasure? And that question has been on my mind, right? A lot. And what I've seen and what I want to share with you today is that there's freedom in the groove, that pleasure is a function of freedom, and freedom is a function of discipline. Freedom is a function of structure, right? We think freedom is doing whatever we want whenever we want, but really that is a juvenile sense of freedom, right? But that freedom in the groove, I love that freedom in the groove. Freedom in the groove is freedom within structure. So dig this: if I were a jazz musician, and I like to play jazz, if I were a jazz musician and I wanted to jam with somebody, I'd have to know some music theory, right? I'd have to have done some study. I'd have to structure. Sup, Joel, Nicole, yay! I'm so glad. Thank you so much for your message, Nicole. So if I were a jazz musician, I'd have to know some music theory. I'd have to have studied. I'd have to have some mastery over the structure. So it's not just like I can do whatever I want, just play music. No, I'm going to learn something. And then if I want to jam with somebody, I've got to know a key signature. I've got to know a time signature. I've got to know what the song is, what the header is, what the order of solos is. And within that structure, infinite variation, infinite possibility, infinite structure, infinite creativity, infinite improvisation occur, right? So in the same way in our lives, what brings pleasure. Hey, Geraldine. Hey, Greg. Welcome back. Hey, you guys. I'm so glad to be back. Reunited, and it feels so good. Okay. So, for me, what brings pleasure is structure. Within that structure, I have freedom. So I'm going to start a series of talks this month on our life structures, life constructs, the areas in our lives that support us in being what we declare ourselves to be. Hey, Maria, thank you. To support us in being who we declare ourselves to be, right? We've all made our New Year's resolutions, right? I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to read more. I'm going to, exercise more. I'm going to be more loving. I'm going to be more kind. I'm going to increase my spiritual practices, whatever it is. I'm going to travel more. We've made our New Year's resolutions. Now, how do we create the structures in our life so that we can support ourselves in having those resolutions, those intentions, emerge with ease and grace? E and G, baby. E and G. Ease and grace. right? Everything is unfolding in divine perfection. We need not strive. We need not struggle. We need not try. For there is a mind greater than our own that has all possibilities within it. It's called the unified field in quantum physics. Whatever we call it, this field of infinite possibility, the possibility of every one of your intentions, the possibility of every one of our New Year's resolutions is already done in that field. Our job is to open up, to allow that to emerge. We need not struggle for it. So how do we create the space for that to emerge? How do we create a space in our consciousness for the divine idea of the true and good desire of our heart to emerge? My assertion is that is through life structure. That is through freedom in the groove. Freedom in the groove. That's the name of this lecture series, Freedom in the Groove. We're going to be talking about it for the next few weeks. And there are 8 structures. This is really a teaching from Michael Bernard Beckwith at Agape. 8 life structures: spirituality, ego, beliefs, relationships, community, body temple, financial, and livelihood. Let me repeat those: spirituality, ego, beliefs, relationships, communities, body temple, financial, and livelihood. 8 life structures. Wait, okay. Okay. 8. 8 life structures. Within those structures, when these structures of our lives are stabilized, we become a candidate for enlightenment. We become available for that divine idea to emerge without having to struggle for it, without having to make it happen, right? When we are manifesting, we're in a little bit of a I'm doing it mentality, a level of consciousness that says I can make something happen. And there are many people that are excellent manifestors, and we want to be excellent manifestors. But there's a level of manifestation that becomes juvenile or immature. When we move out of manifesting strictly for ourselves, we move out of manifesting just for our own benefit and begin to work with the law, the lawful universe, to become a manifester for mankind, for humankind. We become a manifester for the highest and greatest individual and collective good. That's when we move to a mature level of manifestation. And in order to live that level of manifestation, we must have the structures of our life in balance, harmonized, and in order. So let's take 2 of these: spirituality and ego. 2 life structures. We're gonna go through this for the next few weeks and go through the other life structures. But today I want to talk about spirituality and ego. So spirituality. Spirituality are the life structures of our spiritual practices. So when we assert that we want to have an intention for the new year, I want to lose weight, I want to make more money, I want to travel more, I want to be in a relationship, I want to be out of a relationship, whatever it is, I want to read more. We've got to create the structures for those things to happen. Spirituality are the structures of our spiritual practice: meditation, prayer, the practices of breath work, any spirit, qigong, whatever spiritual practices that support you. I mean, actually, some of the life structures are spiritual practices. So community is a huge spiritual practice. Sacred study. Oh my God, sacred study is a huge spiritual practice. What are you reading right now? What instructive, high consciousness books are you reading right now? If you are looking for one, I would recommend Meditations of the Heart by Howard Thurman. Howard Thurman was Martin Luther King Jr.'s mentor. He was the first black preacher, I can't think of the word right now, leader at Boston University in the 50s. And he is these meditations of the heart are beautiful, beautiful meditations, short little paragraphs. They were written, I think, for a church bulletin. They're his writings. And it's a beautiful place to start. But whatever catches your eye. Sacred study is a huge part of our spiritual development, the importance of practice. So the spiritual life structure, the life structure of spirituality has to do with our spiritual practices, the importance of practice. Meditation is key. And if people are saying, I can't really meditate, I don't want to, I can't quiet my mind, let me just tell you, that's bullshit. Okay, because that's resistance. And so I want to talk about meditation, but before I talk about meditation, I have all these beautiful people that have joined us. So let me just acknowledge, we've got Nicole and Geraldine and Greg and Maria. Thank you, Maria. Greg, I know you've been busy. I've been busy too, baby. Tess, Estella, Eddie, Jessica, Tammy, thank you. I went to, for everybody, I was gone. I was traveling in Costa Rica, but then I was also traveling for the holidays. And then I got the great pleasure of being invited to teach at a retreat in Guatemala for a 2020 mastermind conscious entrepreneurial immersion with mastermind pods. And I taught life visioning at that retreat. So how to create a place in our awareness for a divine idea to emerge. We can use the life visioning structure for goals, meetings, individual ideas about what's coming up in our life. We can use it for projects, for company projects, for individual projects. So I taught life visioning, and I was gone in Guatemala, and it was still a little challenging to be teaching. And next time I travel, I will be able to do the Facebook Lives as well. I just didn't know about internet connection was difficult down there in some places where I was. So anyway, that's where I went. Angel, Jerry, Eddie, Deborah, many blessings. Yes, Rebecca, Jennifer, Tammy. Wow. Thank you all so much for joining us. Woo! And I'm back. I'm so glad to be back with you guys. It's so cool. And I'm so excited to share with you this, the importance of life structures. So what we're talking about now is our New Year's resolutions, all the intentions that we set for the new year, and how do we create the structures in our life that support us in living those intentions. So we're talking about spirituality, the life structure of spirituality, which is our meditation practice, our breathwork practice, our sacred prayer practice, our sacred study practice, our fellowship practice. All of these things support us. So we've got to harmonize this life structure. I want to step back a minute and talk a little bit more about life structures in general. So we've got these life structures: spirituality, ego, relationships, community, beliefs, body temple, financial, and livelihood, right? These are 8 life structures. Think of them like legs on a table, right? Now, a lot of us have a few life structures in balance. And for me, the life structure I'm working on right now is ego. And so we're going to talk about that next. But let's say you've got your spirituality, your practices are solid. I got a solid meditation practice. I pray. I got my community. I'm reading. I'm studying. I'm taking classes. Okay, cool. My spirituality is solid. Financial, I've got a solid financial structure. My life structure of finances are in order. My body temple, solid body temple practice. I move every day. Okay, so we've got 3. And my beliefs, let's say my beliefs are in order. My beliefs, the structures of beliefs are like examining those things, those underpinning ideas that are actually the background operating beliefs. Like, do I say that I believe in a benevolent universe, but I'm always worried that there's not enough, waiting for the other shoe to drop? Like, those are the life structures of belief. So let's say my beliefs are in order. So I've got spirituality, beliefs, body temple, and financial. They're in order. And now my livelihood, my finances are good, but maybe my job isn't so great. And my community, I don't have a solid community. I'm just explaining. I'm not saying this about myself, but that, let's say, take an example. So I don't have a solid community, and my relationships are a little strained with my family, etc. And my ego is a little out of balance, meaning that a healthy ego is an egoic structure where there's no immature competition. And a solid sense of self, right? Without having to put yourself above another. So let's say, in this example, 4 out of the 8 life structures are harmonized. So if I've got a table with 4 legs, right? That table's pretty solid. I've got the computer on the table right now with 4 legs. Now, and my other life structures aren't harmonized. So let's say all of a sudden I fall ill, right? And now my body temple life structure is out of balance. And now I've only got 3 of those 4 legs holding up that table. It becomes a little wobbly, right? So that's why we want to harmonize as many of the life structures as we can, because as we stabilize these structures in our life, our spiritual practices, our egoic beliefs about ourselves, a good, healthy ego is an ego that supports me in a healthy sense of self, right? And not comparing with others and not feeling like taking everything personally, right? When my beliefs are in order, when I've really examined my belief systems and I know deep down, rock bottom, down to my bones, that I live in a friendly universe and that everything is working together for my good and that I'm open and available to more good than I've ever imagined. When I have a belief system that's solid and my relationships, all of my relationships are reflecting, sacred mirrors, reflecting the areas within me that are seeking to be healed, and I'm able to deal with those and have solid, loving, open relationships that work for the best and highest good for each one in the relationship, that cares for the genuine care and nurturing of the individual spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. Those are solid relationships. When my community, I've got a solid community, when all of these things, my body temple, when my finances are in order and my livelihood, I'm living a career path, when all of those things are harmonized, baby, you are rock solid. And now you're no longer living in survival and adaptation. You are living in the ability to have revelation and insight and accept those revelations. And then you're also, because your life structures are solid, you can allow other things to fall away. In other words, something's seeking to emerge and something's seeking to fall away. So the point of life structures, that was an overview of life structures. The point of our life structures are that we want to stabilize each one, because once we have a stabilized, life structure system, then we can have freedom. Right? So freedom in the groove is that we have freedom within structure. That structure actually provides more opportunity, more possibility, more ability to live the life that we love and to be in pleasure. So the title of this talk is What Brings Pleasure? What brings pleasure is freedom in the groove, baby. Ease and grace, baby. That's what brings pleasure. And what brings pleasure is that ability to move through life without having to force things, without having to strive for things, without having to make it happen, that we live in a way that we open up gently to life and life opens up gently to us. And the way we do that is by stabilizing our life structures. The two life structures that we're talking about today are spirituality and ego. Spirituality are spiritual practices. This is the importance of meditation. And there are so many ways to go about meditation. And if you're having trouble meditating, I want you to send me a private message and we will talk. Wow, we got a lot more people coming in. Let me just acknowledge Desiree and Kenneth. Hey, Kenneth, baby. Nicole, Jerry's back. Kai, Jennifer, thank you. Jennifer, I'm with you on that goal. So look, if you're having trouble meditating, you private message me and we will talk, because meditation is the foundation. Meditation is the cornerstone of centering ourselves and becoming less reactive in life. Oh man, let me tell you. Remember we did last year, we did Reaction Jackson. That was one of our Facebook Lives, right? Because I am reactive, baby. I can react like that. But with meditation and all of the other life structures, but meditation, I began to be able to quiet my mind and to quiet the speed at which I react to things. So meditation is key. Spiritual study, sacred study. You got to be reading good things. You got to be filling your mind, watching good things on YouTube, watching Facebook Lives. And right, you're doing it, right? Those are the things. We fill our lives with things that fortify us. Our prayer, right? And we want to rethink prayer. Prayer is not just oh God, help me fix this. I need something, right? Bring me, drop kick me, Jesus. That's not prayer. Prayer is, I'm sitting down to do this Facebook Live and all I say is, God, let me speak the truth. Work through me right now. Let me have divine articulation right here and right now, that this is an excellent Facebook Live, that it communicates to people, and that I'm being used. I'm being used fully by the Spirit. Bam, that's a prayer. Or I'm sitting down to do paperwork. I'm filling out my taxes. Spirit, just help me that this is all filled out right, that everything is easy and full of grace. Thank you. Boom. That's a prayer, right? We got to rethink prayer. It's not this formal. It can be a formal structure. We can talk more about prayer, but in this idea of the life structure of spirituality, prayer is a turning towards that which is actually, it's almost like an intention. I'm going to set an intention right here and right now. Thank you, Deborah. I'm going to set an intention that this is a great Facebook Live, that everything is articulate, and that there's something that moves through me that I wouldn't have thought of. It's not me that does the work, that it's the spirit within. That's my intention. I'm going to set an intention for the day. My prayer for the day is that I'm loving. I'm more loving in my heart today. That's what I want to be, that I want to be more peaceful in my heart today. And be careful when things show up in your life that aren't so loving and aren't peaceful. Because when we say to the universe, I want to be more loving in my heart, the spirit of the presence of God reflects back to us all the ways in which we can be more loving in our lives. I remember setting that intention one day and going to work. This is when I was working as a sales manager at a yacht company, and I lived right down the street from the office. So, I finished my meditation. I was just open-hearted and loving, and life is great. And I'm just one big love ball. And I set the intention, I want to be more loving in my heart today. Oh, isn't that beautiful? And I went to the office, and it was like 15 minutes later, right? I drove, it was a 10-minute drive to work. And within 5 minutes of walking in the door of the office, I was fighting with somebody, yelling, one of those yelling arguments where you actually like step outside of yourself and you go, what the fuck? Who is that? Who is that talking? That's not me. Where you're like, shut up, stop talking, and you can't stop talking, and you're saying these things that are like, I'm going to regret this. I'm so going to regret this. Shut up, shut up, shut up. It was that kind of argument within minutes of that, setting that intention. And I thought, well, fuck, like I just set that intention. And then I realized that the universe shows us all the ways in which we can be more loving when we set that intention. If I want to be peaceful, there might be some things that aren't necessarily peaceful that show up in your life, right? Because that's this relationship with this energy, this lawful energy called the universe, called God, called the presence of the spirit, mother, father, God, great love, beauty, intelligence, whatever you want to call it. This relationship that we have, it's a reflective relationship. And so like all relationships, it's reflecting back to us the areas within us that are looking to be healed. So the life structure of spirituality is key. The life structure, so just to resume, spirituality is, I'm loving you guys. Thank you for all those good hearts and thumbs up. And yes, prayer is being answered, Danita. I'm looking through Nicole. Yes, love it. Deborah, Nicole saying that my words of 2019 was strength and patience. Definitely learned that one. Right on, Nicole. So look, life structure, spirituality are the structures that support us in our spiritual practice. Meditation, prayer, sacred study, fellowship. It could be Qigong. It could be whatever it is. You got to do it. You got to have it, and have a couple of them. That's the stabilization of the life structure. And when you do that every day, when it begins to feel like, fuck, I missed my meditation today. I got to sit down just for 5 minutes. I got to just quiet myself. That's when that structure is stabilized. Because then you're like, no, I can't not do this any longer. The life structure of ego is the second life structure I want to talk about today. And again, as I mentioned earlier, the egoic life structure is, ego's gotten a bad rap. Right? Because, ego, we see it being outpictured as, look at me, yeah, baby, what? That's the sort of egoic presentations of self. But ego really is, a healthy ego is a I'm okay, you're okay kind of ego. That there's a good sense of self. And it's that not taking things personally, not getting caught in the hell of comparison. Which, man, it's so easy to do. I ran into a friend. I went to Erewhon to get breakfast, the most expensive grocery store in the world. And I ran into a friend, Ben Decker, our friend Ben Decker, who's going to be at Rythmia soon in March, I believe. And I'll be there all March. So ran into Ben Decker. Hey, Ben, how you doing? Because I'm great. I'm filming today. I was like, what are you filming? And he said, I'm filming, for this app, meditation for this app. And talk about ego. I was like, oh, I'm like, oh, that's so great. That's awesome. You're going to be awesome. But there was that thing in the back of my head that went, oh, why aren't I being asked to do meditation for an app? Right? It's so natural. But I was able to catch it, right? You see it and you go, oh, there's my ego. There's an unhealthy sense of ego. right? So as we become more aware of those, then you go, no, I'm really happy for Ben. That's amazing. And guess what? Anything I desire is mine. Nothing is being withheld from me. Nothing is being withheld from you. So that's when we can shift comparison into an affirmation that any good and true desire of my heart is the true and good desire of the divine. For it wouldn't be in my heart if it wasn't the divine idea manifest from an infinite field of possibility taking form within me. So that's how we shift that in the life structure of ego. When you notice yourself comparing yourself to others, you shift it, you energetically shift it by turning it into the truth, which is you wouldn't be able to see it in somebody else if it wasn't already in you, one. Two, nothing is being withheld. Let me say that again. Nothing is being withheld. The only limitation is thought itself. We're the only limitation. So whatever we believe and think truly and feel truly, that's what's being articulated in our life. There's a whole talk about that too, about how things manifest, right? The way things manifest, because you can't blame people for illness, you can't blame people for a car accident, right? But at some level, those things are manifesting for our benefit. We can talk about that. That's another Facebook Live. However, what I want to talk about in terms of ego and comparison is that we wouldn't be able to see something in ourselves and see something in others unless it was manifest in ourselves, right? And so when I hear something good happening for somebody else, I have to say a couple things, because my egoic structure can come in and go, well, why isn't that happening for me? Well, how come it's them and not me? Why? Well, I wish I had that. Oh, lucky them, right? No, baby, you rejoice. I have to say, John, rejoice for that person. Their good is my good. Their good is my good. I wouldn't be able to see that good that they're experiencing wouldn't even come into my awareness if it wasn't already within me. So their good is my good. There's one life, one mind, one heart, one body, one thing happening. It is divine. It is a divine expression, and it's happening in, through, and as me, and in, through, and as you. So if it's happening for all of us. And when we step into that realization, we're welcoming it in. We're making it welcome. We create a space in our awareness for that to emerge, right? So yeah, baby, keep those hearts coming. I love it. So the egoic life structure of comparison, we can really shift that, right? By rejoicing in others, because when one shines, it means we all can shine. Take delight in your own light and celebrate others in theirs. That's a healthy ego. That's a healthy egoic structure. Take delight in your own light and celebrate others in theirs. For when one shines, it means we all can shine. So this is the healthy life structure of ego, where we are in a place where the outer areas of our life reflect our inner growth. When I can run into somebody and have them say, oh, I'm recording meditations for an app, and I can notice that little get caught, like, why aren't I being asked to record meditations for an app? But then shift that to, oh man, you're going to be great. And anything, if I really want that, it's mine. There's nothing being withheld from me, nothing being withheld from you. We set the intention and we feel that it's already done. And in that clear intention and that elevated emotion that Joe Dispenza talks about, I want to acknowledge where I'm getting this. Joe Dispenza talks about clear intention and elevated emotion. So let's take the example of teaching meditation for an app. I have a clear intention. I want to be asked to teach meditation for an app. And now I can anchor into what would it be like if I got a call today and the call said, hi, I was watching your Facebook Live and I think you'd be a great meditation teacher. Would you like to record some sessions for our app? How would I feel? Like, I've gotten the call. Oh my God, I manifested that. Oh my God, thank you. I'd be so grateful. I would be so grateful. It would be a direct reflection of the divine nature of the universe. It would be a direct example of the benevolence of the universe. Oh, I'd be so grateful. I'd be in love with life. I'd be in awe. I'd be in awe at the mystery of life, right? So when we start to set an intention, the next key is that we set that intention with such veracity, with such clarity, that it's already done in our hearts to such an extent that we feel it, we taste it. I can hear the phone ringing. Hello? Yes, I'd love to teach meditation. Right? That's how we got to feel it. Like I do private sessions with people as a spiritual counselor, and one of my clients was working. He's struggling with meth addiction, and he said, I got to be careful about my thoughts because when my thoughts manifest very quickly. And what he really meant was when he has a craving for the drug, for this compulsive behavior, the feeling, he knows it so well. He knows what it's going to taste like. He knows what it's going to feel like. He knows the escape mechanism that it offers. He can feel it so viscerally down in his bones that it manifests like that. It shows up in his life. Right. So I heard that and I was like, wow, I've struggled with addiction in the past. I know a lot of people have. And I'm grateful that I had that experience because it taught me, because I remember being in that, like tasting it, even if it was a cigarette and other more heavy substances that I was using, right? Where I could feel it so clearly. That's the kind of intentionality that we have to have with our good and true and healthy intentions. That level of being able to taste it, feel it, touch it, experience it, know it so profoundly that I can feel that, like what it's going to be like to get that call when somebody says, I want you on my app. You teach for my app. Yes, right? That's how we got to feel it. So, life structures that we talked about today: spirituality and ego. The life structures, we're going to talk about 8 different life structures over the course of the next couple of weeks. So keep coming back on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific time, wherever you are in the world. And we will discuss more about these life structures. I want to do a brief review for those that just joined, that we're talking about the 8 life structures that support us in being a candidacy for pleasure, that support us in our candidacy for enlightenment, that support us for the intentions that we set for the new year, right? So the life structures are spirituality, ego, beliefs, relationships, community, body temple, financial, and livelihood. Those are the 8 life structures. Today we talked about spirituality and ego. Spirituality, I feel like Bill Clinton. There we go. When I just noticed myself doing this. I'm going to talk to you about life structures. They're good. Life structures, that's a good idea. Let me tell you why. That was a pretty damn good Bill Clinton impersonation. Okay. Following your life structures, that's a good idea. Let me tell you why. First of all, life structures support you in being a candidate for your awakening. And that's a good thing. So we're gonna do life structures. Spirituality is the life structure of our spiritual practices: meditation, prayer, breath work, qigong, reading, sacred study, sacred service. Sacred service, that's another huge one. Are we volunteering? How are we contributing to our community? How are we being a beneficial presence on the planet? Those are all part of our spiritual life structure. And so I encourage you, because once we have these life structures in place and they're in order, then our New Year's resolutions, our New Year's intentions, those things manifest with ease and grace, because we are creating a space in our consciousness for the divine idea that's true and good to emerge without strive, without effort, without forcing it, without cajoling it, without manipulating it, without manifesting it. Manifestation is great, but it is the immature or juvenile level of spirituality, right? We're beginning to learn at the level of manifestation that we have some facility with a lawful universe that responds to our thinking. Well, if we get stuck there, we have a president that's really a master manifester, and he's kind of stuck there. And he's manifesting really for his own benefit, right? Well, we want to move into a mature sense of manifestation, which is manifesting to be a beneficial presence on the planet, to be a contribution to our community, to our families, to the world around us, to be in service to an idea that works for a kind and just global society, that works for the best and highest individual and collective good. That is mature manifestation. We do that when our life structures are in order. The life structure of spirituality and the life structures of ego are the 2 that we covered today. Spiritual practices have to do with spirituality, and ego has to do with having a healthy sense of ourselves, where we're not caught in comparison and judgment and opinion about others, where we don't take things personally, because we are set so secure with a healthy sense of ourselves that I shall not be moved. Now, this is actually the life structure I'm really working on personally, that our life structure of ego is one that cares for my own genuine care and nurturing, the genuine care and nurturing of my own spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. That's a healthy life structure. And then I can care for another's spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. That is love, baby. That is what a healthy ego is all about. Caring for my own spiritual, mental, and physical well-being so that I can care for another's spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. So those are the two life structures that we covered. Let me look at the comments. Geraldine, beautiful. It became a possibility right after you heard it. Tammy, love it. Accept others in their own light. Yes. Deborah, thank you. Jerry, I love your comments, brother. Sandra, I like all the comments. Nicole, Eddie, you're good as my good, baby. That's right. Jessica, you are so welcome. I love it, love it, love it. Yes, I go live every Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, every Thursday. I took a break for the last 3. So yes, your success is my success. So when we see successful people, man, this is a really cool thing. I saw somebody driving in a brand new Bentley, the sticker was still on the back. They didn't even have a real license plate. It was the Bentley. And I was like, ostentatious. Right? How shitty of me. I was like, I slapped myself and I went, good for you. Good for you getting that Bentley. Go for it. I might choose a different car, but yeah, like, wow, your good is my good. Your success is my success. If I see it, I am it. If I see it, I wouldn't even be able to see it if I didn't have that level of success within me. So we shift that energy. That's the healthy ego. We shift that energy when we see things. Instead of comparing and blaming and pointing the finger, we then say, oh, that good is my good. I wouldn't be able to see it if it wasn't within me. It's already within me. That success is my success. There's no limitations. Nothing is being withheld from me. Nothing is being withheld from you. If it's the true and good desire of your heart and it is a service to all of humankind, then it will manifest with ease and grace. So those are the life structures that we covered today. I'm so grateful to have all of you on here, man. Yeah, I want to thank you, Maria. She says, I can't wait to get the call and be asked to lead meditation for an app. Yes, I'm down. Jerry, Candace, thank you so much for all of you. Vanessa, Danita, Tammy, thank you. Everyone who commented. We had a lot of comments, and all those that are watching. We have lots of people watching right now. I almost don't want to stop, but it's been like almost 40 minutes, and I think you guys are like, all right, we've heard enough of them. So I'm going to just call it to a close and say, come back next week, Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, and we're going to talk about the life structures of belief and relationships. All right. Peace and richest blessings. I'm knowing that there are no limitations. Nothing is being withheld, and everything is working together for your good. Peace and blessings. I love you all. Thank you.